Everybody got on the sauce when Mark Coleman was around, son. Everybody got saucy.
That's a rumor.
Joe Rogan is a multifaceted American icon, celebrated not only as a comedian, but also as an actor, martial arts enthusiast, UFC commentator, and one of the world's most successful podcast hosts.
Rogan's edgy and adult-oriented comedy style, known as blue comedy,
reportedly earning $60 million annually from his media ventures alone. His thriving career has made him a household name, yet many remain curious about the journey that propelled him to such heights. Beyond his professional accolades, Rogan's outspoken nature, eclectic interests, and polarizing views have cemented his status as a cultural lightning rod. In this exploration, we'll dive into the pivotal moments that shaped Joe Rogan's rise to fame, tracing a path that transformed him into the influential and sometimes controversial figure he is today. Born Joseph James Rogan on August 11, 1967, in Newark, New Jersey, Rogan hails from a rich cultural mix, with one Irish grandparent and three of Italian descent. His early life took a turn when his parents divorced at age 5, and by 7 he'd lost contact with his father, an architect and former police officer. Rogan has reflected on fleeting memories of domestic unrest from those years, recalling his father's temper, but insists he harbors no bitterness, viewing it as a distant chapter. At 7, he and his mother relocated to San Francisco, California, immersing him in the city's vibrant counterculture. At 11, they moved to Gainesville, Florida, before settling in Newton Upper Falls, Massachusetts, where he graduated from Newton South High School in 1985. Growing up across these diverse locales exposed Rogan to a range of perspectives, subtly shaping his later worldview. As a kid, Rogan was energetic, playing Little League baseball and discovering a passion for martial arts in his teens. He's admitted to a deep fear of failure growing up, a dread of being a loser that haunted him until martial arts became a game changer. It boosted his confidence and revealed his potential, teaching him resilience through discipline. At 14, he took up karate, adding taekwondo a year later. By 19, he clinched the U.S. Open Taekwondo Championship as a lightweight and dominated as Massachusetts full-contact state champion for 4 consecutive years, even teaching taekwondo for a time. He also tried amateur kickboxing, posting a 2-1 record, but retired at 21 due to persistent headaches and fears of long-term brain damage, a decision that foreshadowed his later advocacy for fighter safety in MMA. Around this period, he briefly attended the University of Massachusetts Boston, but dropped out, feeling it wasn't his calling. He's since described college as a mismatch for his restless, hands-on nature. Comedy wasn't Rogan's initial ambition, though his love for it bloomed early, sparked by Richard Pryor's Live on the Sunset Strip, which he credits with leaving him in stitches like nothing before. He's also cited George Carlin's sharp wit and social commentary as formative influences. While honing his martial arts skills, he'd amuse friends with impressions and humor, and they urged him to try stand-up. At 21, after 6 months of crafting material, often testing bits at the gym or dojo, Rogan debuted at an open mic night on August 27, 1988 at Stitches Comedy Club in Boston. That raw, nerve-wracking set launched his comedy career, igniting a passion he hadn't anticipated. To support himself in Boston, Rogan juggled jobs, teaching martial arts at Boston University and in Revere, delivering newspapers, driving a limo, working construction, and aiding a private investigator, an eclectic mix that honed his work ethic and storytelling chops. His raw, adult-edged blue comedy style, packed with profanity and taboo topics, landed him gigs at bachelor parties and strip clubs. One night, a club owner gave him a shot at a 5-minute set, catching the eye of talent manager Jeff Sussman. Impressed by Rogan's unpolished energy, Sussman offered to manage him, a turning point that gave Rogan direction in a chaotic field. In 1990, Rogan moved to New York City to chase comedy full-time, crashing with his grandfather in Newark for 6 months to save cash while hustling for gigs at iconic spots like the Comedy Cellar. Inspired by comedy legends like Richard Jeni, Lenny Bruce, Sam Kinison, and Bill Hicks, whose fearless takes on society left a mark, he honed his craft. 4 years later, he headed to Los Angeles, landing his first TV break on MTV's Half-Hour Comedy Hour in 1994. This exposure triggered a bidding war among networks, and after negotiations via Sussman, Rogan signed a development deal with Disney. That year, he scored his first major acting role as Frank Valente, a cocky baseball star on Fox's Hardball, a short-lived sitcom that nonetheless put him on Hollywood's radar. From 1995 to 1999, Rogan starred as Joe Gorelli, an electrician handyman on NBC's News Radio. Originally cast for Ray Romano, the role shifted to Rogan after one rehearsal, letting him tweak the character, though he later called it a dumbed-down, censored version of himself, a nod to his frustration with scripted TV's constraints. On set, he bonded with Phil Hartman, who confided in Rogan about personal woes, including a volatile marriage. Rogan urged Hartman to leave 5 times, but Hartman stayed for his kids. When Hartman's wife murdered him in 1998, Rogan was shaken, canceling a week of stand-up gigs and later reflecting on the loss as a sobering lesson in life's fragility. Though acting paid well, he found it unfulfilling, sticking with news radio as a dream gig that fueled his comedy and gave him a platform. Rogan's UFC journey began in 1997 as a backstage and post-fight interviewer, debuting at UFC 12 in Dothan, Alabama. His MMA fascination started in 1994, watching Royce Gracie submit foes with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at UFC 2, igniting a lifelong passion for the art. He'd later train under legends like Carlson Gracie and Jean-Jacques Machado. Sussman's connection to UFC co-creator Campbell McLaren landed him the gig, but after 2 years, travel costs outweighed the pay, and he stepped away. When Zuffa bought UFC in 2001, Rogan befriended Dana White, who offered him a color commentator role. Initially declining, preferring to enjoy fights as a fan, he did about 15 free gigs for Prime tickets before accepting payment in 2002, teaming with Mike Goldberg until 2016. His insightful, enthusiastic commentary earned him multiple awards, including Best Television Announcer from the Wrestling Observer newsletter and MMA Personality of the Year 4 times from the World MMA Awards. Today, he's a UFC staple, often joined by analysts like Daniel Cormier, and his deep MMA knowledge, paired with his BJJ black belts, makes him a respected voice in the sport. In 1999, Rogan inked a 3-album deal with Warner Brothers and pitched a sitcom, The Joe Rogan Show, for Fox, co-written with Seinfeld alum Bill Masters. The concept, a sportscaster on a women's talk show, never aired, but it showed his ambition. That year, he recorded his first comedy album, I'm Going to Be Dead Someday, at Boston's Comedy Connection, gaining traction via Napster and Shares. In 2001, he was tapped to host NBC's Fear Factor. Hesitant, thinking it too wild for air, Sussman convinced him it'd fuel his stand-up material. Running from 2001 to 2006 with a 2011 revival, Fear Factor, where contestants face stunts like eating bugs or dangling from helicopters, boosted his fame in comedy crowds, though Rogan later quipped it was the dumbest job he'd ever had, albeit lucrative. More TV roles followed, a 2002 cameo on Just Shoot Me as Maya Gelow's boyfriend, emceeing the 2002 blockbuster Hollywood Spectacular Parade, and co-hosting The Man Show with Doug Stanhope in 2003, though creative clashes with Comedy Central over its frat boy tone soured the stint after 1 season. In 2007, his 4th special, Shiny Happy Jihad, recorded at Cobb's Comedy Club, blended stand-up with audience Q&A, cementing his improv flair and willingness to tackle edgy topics like religion and war. Post-Fear Factor, Rogan refocused on stand-up, and in 2009 launched the Joe Rogan Experience podcast from his home with comedian Brian Redban. Initially a casual chat show, it exploded by 2015 into a global phenomenon, drawing millions per episode with guests ranging from scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson to provocateurs like Alex Jones. In 2020, Spotify snagged exclusive rights for $200 million, a deal renewed in 2024 for $250 million, no longer exclusive, allowing it on YouTube and elsewhere. With over 2,000 episodes by 2025, it's a cultural juggernaut. Though not without controversy, Rogan has faced backlash for hosting fringe voices and questioning COVID-19 vaccines, prompting artists walking out from Spotify in 2022. His net worth, around $200 million, funds a lavish lifestyle, including jaw-dropping real estate. In 2020, Rogan bought a $14.4 million Lake Austin mansion in Texas, ditching California's taxes, traffic, and what he's called its overreach during the pandemic, a move echoing his libertarian streak. Renovated from its 2006 Tuscan roots, it boasts a bold blue interior, antique decor, a hunting-ready kitchen, he's an avid bow hunter, a custom Sorinex gym, and glass walls framing lake views. Previously, he owned a $2.3 million Bell Canyon, California estate from 2003, sold in 2021 for $3.4 million. A 7,500 square foot retreat with cliffside vistas, a chicken coop, he's into self-sufficiency, and a luxe game room with a pool table and wet bar. Rogan's car collection mirrors his eclectic tastes. A track-ready 2008 Porsche 911 GT3 RS, he's praised Porsche's precision, a classic 1965 Chevrolet Corvette C2 Stingray, a roaring Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat, a nod to his muscle car love, an off-road Ford F-150 Raptor, a rare Hennessy Venom F5 hypercar, one of 24, aiming for 300+ miles per hour, and a high-tech Tesla Model S, ironic given his friendship with Elon Musk, Tesla's CEO, a frequent podcast guest. Politically, Rogan